Hey everyone, today we're going to build a website using React and deploy our project to the Google Cloud platform. Step 1, let's make sure we have all the tools we need. So we're going to do node -- version and npm -- version. Now that we have our tools installed, we're going to run npx create -react -app and then give a name for our project. This will run a script that'll create the project and all the files that it needs. I sped it up for the video, but it'll take a lot longer on your machines. Now that the script is done, it gives you a few commands that you can use to start working on your project. So let's run cd and then your project name, then run npm start to get a local web server started. If everything went right, it'll open up your web browser and start displaying your website. If you take a look at the address bar, you'll see it's running on your local host at port 3000. Next, take a look at where it says to get started editing your files. And let's go open up a text editor. I prefer to use WebStorm, but you can use any editor of your choice. You can open up your project in whatever directory you were located when you ran the create React app script in your terminal. Now that your application is open, you can look at some of the files that the script created. We're going to go to source/app.js to get started editing your site. Here you can see what was displayed on your web page. Like all new developers, let's start by saying hello world. Now we're going to save our project and go check out our web page. Once you save, it should already reload the web page. And here's our website with our new edits. And now you have your own website up and running locally. The next step is deploying to GCP. So let's head back to the terminal. We're going to run npm run build to get everything ready for production. When that's finished running, we now have a build folder with all of our static files in it. Now let's initialize our project as a Git repo by running git init. Next, we're going to use git add to stage all of our changes. We'll use the -f flag to make sure that the build folder is tracked. Now let's commit our changes with git commit. And make sure you add a message so you know what you did with this commit. Now let's go to the GitHub website to get the information for the repo I created earlier. It's easier to create the GitHub repo on the website and then just follow the steps on how to push an existing repository up to the repo. So we're going to copy and paste these commands into the terminal here. And now our repository and its changes are in GitHub. Now let's go to the Google Cloud Platform website and create a new project. Before this, you might have to sign in and do everything on that end. But once you can, find the project button up top and then select create project on the drop down. Now let's give the project a permanent name. I'm going to call it Developer Code. And then press create. And give it a moment to actually create the project. Once it notifies you that your project has been created, you're going to go click the drop down on the left, then go home, and then click the projects up top and make sure you select the project name that you just created. This will take you to your project settings, but you're going to go to the top left and then come down to compute and select a compute engine and VM instances. Now GCP is going to get a VM instance started. Give it a minute because it's actually doing a lot. It actually took a while on my computer, but I'm speeding it up for the sake of the video. When it's done, press create. Now let's configure the settings for our VM instance. I'm going to name it my site instance 1. And then we're going to put it in US East 1 region, zone US 1-C. The zone and region just represent where your server is physically located. Now you can go down and you can see all the other settings that you can put for your machine. We can leave most of them at the default, but we're going to come down to the firewall and allow HTTP and HTTPS traffic. Now let's create. Again, it takes a while to actually do the loading, so let's give it a minute. Once it's done, we're going to hide the info panel and select SSH. Give it a minute to load and it'll open up with a terminal. Once we have a shell, we're going to run apt-get update and apt-get install Apache 2 to update the package manager and install Apache web server on our machine. And make sure to run them as a root user or sudo. Once that's done, we're going to go back to our console and click our instance's external IP. Make sure you're going through HTTP and not HTTPS. And look, we have a web server running on our host. The default page it serves just gives you some information about Apache and how to change the configuration files and different things like that. So now let's go back to the shell. For this next part, make sure you have G-Cloud command line tools installed. And if not, just wait. For those of you that do have it installed, you can run G-Cloud compute SSH -- project and give it your project name. Now -- zone to include your zone. Now include your instance name and you're going to press enter. Then we're going to take a minute to connect to our host. Now that it's connected, we're going to use Git to install Git on the host machine. Now that we have Git installed, we're going to pull our repo. So let's go back and get the URL. And we're gonna do git pull with the URL. And it didn't work. Okay, let's see. Alright, the problem was I was trying to pull a repo, but I need to clone it. So let's try that now. Alright, and it worked. So let's clear it. Okay, so now we need to copy our build folder from the project into our web servers directory. So we're gonna do cp and then the build folder from the project. And first we're gonna do -f to make sure it's getting all of the subfolders in the build folder. To /var /www /html. And let's check to make sure that it's running right. And it didn't work. Okay. Let's go back. Okay, let's try restarting the web server. That also didn't work. Okay. Okay, let me clear everything real quick. And let's try it again. Now I'm gonna see what's in the web servers directory. So we do a ls to that path. And okay, the build folder is in there, but it took the build folder itself, not the contents. So we need to get the files inside of the build folder inside. So we're gonna go back up and then add a star so that it know everything inside. And here we go. And yep, everything should be inside here. Okay, now let's go back to the website. But wait, let's restart it first. And now let's go back. And here we are. We now have a React web application running on a GCP host. Alright, so if you watched this far, thanks. Drop a comment below, leave a like, and subscribe to catch the next video. Peace.